think many of us struggle to find the perfect work-life balance. I know I do. I often wish I had more free time with my son and husband. Like most workplaces, I do receive allowed time for vacation, which I do take, but it just never seems like quite enough time. There's always the option of taking unpaid time off if one needs it, but most of us have bills to pay, and this may not be feasible. Well, I have found a way around this. Taking a vacation without using my vacation hours. Well, as a veterinarian, every year I must meet certain continuing education requirements. These involve me taking additional classes, including ones online, as well as going to conferences where I attend lectures presented by the top specialists in my field, as well as hands-on classes to further my practical skills. These conferences take place all over the country and the world, which provides me the opportunity to turn it into a vacation of sorts. Now, it may not be the most relaxing of vacations, but nonetheless, it is time away from the clinic and more time with my family and sometimes even with friends. I may use a couple of vacation days or unpaid time off to add to these trips to give myself enough time to explore the place we are visiting. However, we did not do this on our most recent trip, and I still managed to attend the full conference, going to full available days worth of lectures, and found time to hang out with my family and friends and explore the city of St. Louis. I understand that not every career path has professional conferences or offers the option of going on business trips. But there are other ways you can dedicate vacation time to your busy schedule without using any vacation hours. For example, take a red-eye flight so as not to use up an extra vacation day for flying. Or you can travel over public holidays and pair them up with weekends. Or pair up 1 or 2 vacation days with a weekend, turning it into a long weekend. In this case, consider going somewhere within driving distance, so as not to waste too much time on travel. The first day of the conference, I had an afternoon practical and there were no classes in the morning, so we went to the local museum. Day, the midday break was 3 hours long, so we explored the beautiful Gateway Arch designed by Eero Saarinen, one of my favorite architects and designers.
I know this feeling won't go away. This all feels like electric power. All I want is to turn it off. Still got the sun, but still got the summer. For a dream of that be enough. I need some downtime. I'll disappear into the shadows.
Day 3 of the conference was only a half day, and there was a St. Louis zoo trip organized for all attendees, so we explored the zoo and even had the opportunity to see some behind-the-scenes stuff, including the zoo hospital.
Looking for the truth. Don't call me, I'll be far away from you.
last 2 days of the conference, I spent time with Owen and Darwin only during lunch and in the afternoons and evenings after classes. While I was in classes, Owen and Darwin relaxed and explored the city on their own.
Don't know why I'm incapable while you're unstoppable. Some big black clouds, the unavoidable is raining down. I'm fading now into an endless hole. When you come, everything just turns around. I get stunned by your drum. I follow you.
In order to extend my vacation time, I could have added on a few days of purely vacation time to either side of my trip. To avoid using up vacation hours, these days could be over a weekend, for example, or days of the week that I normally don't work, or going and coming days of the trip. It may also be worthwhile attending conferences in cities that you really want to visit, or attending what are called vacation conferences, where there are only half days of lectures and the second half of the day is dedicated time off for all attendees. The veterinary profession also has some organizations that plan conferences around family, where bringing your children and partners is encouraged. In fact, you can even bring them to the lectures with you. Some of these conferences are held on cruise ships.
When you come, everything just turns around. I get stunned.
If you're combining a conference with a vacation, it's always best to stay as close as possible to the conference location so you're not wasting time going long distances back and forth. The nice thing about combining vacation time with a conference is that the employer will often cover some of the expenses. In my situation, I get a yearly allowance for this, so I can include my flight and commuting costs, hotel stays, and food as part of this. This really makes the whole thing a lot more affordable. This may not be an option for you if your particular career does not offer conferences, but I hope this has given you some inspiration to think outside the box in regards to taking extra vacation time and thinking of other ways to create the perfect work-life balance for you. Happy vacationing, and stay tuned for my next video where I talk about things to do in St. Louis with kids. See you then. Bye.